Right, very good afternoon. So, the Premier League have cancelled its meeting with all 20 clubs. So, what does it mean? Well, we're getting very, very close also to the other big, massive case, which is the Premier League against Manchester City. Now, why I think they've cancelled this meeting is because they need to get everything in a row. And what's basically happened at this moment in time is the Premier League is actually divided down the middle. You have Newcastle United in Manchester City's part of the Premier League, and then you have your Arsenal, your Liverpool, Manchester United, Brentford, and other teams in the other half. And it has divided the greatest league in the world because when they were pulled up because of City taking the Premier League to court, it was illegal. And if you look backwards in my timeline on my YouTube channel, which this is going to, you'll see that they have done things to give us, as we are owners, i.e., the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia, and also the Gulf state of United Arab Emirates. And as a fellow YouTube channel, NUFC Mag said, and Davey, he turned around and said that it's xenophobic, which has kind of caught everybody on the hop. Now, what I think they're going to try and do is they're going to still try their very best to limit the spending power of not just Newcastle United, but also for Manchester City. The reason being, well, they're frightened. They're frightened of the spending power. What I mean by that is this. One example, Aramco was to come in as a sponsor of Newcastle United. Well, that's going to be a mega deal. And they don't want that because at the end of the day, that would mean in a summer or a winter transfer window, Newcastle United would have unlimited funds. And this is the reason why they brought this in the first place. However, as we approach November, there's some very important things happening the other side as well. And that's why in recent songs I covered the United States of America, because it seems to me that if the sponsorship of Newcastle United comes from this side, i.e. across the pond, well, there's nothing said. It's just if it comes from that side, which is the eastern part. And that's totally wrong. It's being prejudiced against where you are geographically in the world. So, I think there will be a meeting, and at that meeting, it's going to be rather feisty. Why? Because they're going to try and push through. Now, one person, Adam Pearson, had mentioned that they were going to push through a half-time interview. Really? A half-time interview with one of the managers? Does one of the managers really want to have the cameras in the room with all of the players? Don't think so. Another of the rules was where a player who was substituted giving his opinion. Well, it's not really anything to do with the player why they've been pulled off. It's up to the manager why they've been pulled off. And I think it's bananas. And it was Adam Pearson that mentioned this. And what we don't really want is to go down the route of where we're chucking a flag onto the field like in the NFL. That's not football. It wouldn't be football anymore. Same as, timeouts. That's American, and let it stay American. You see, the thing is, right, the greatest league in the world is divided. And you've got your big 6 teams, your Manchester Uniteds, your Arsenals, your Liverpools, etc. And they're in the opposite camp to us. Because during that court case, well, Newcastle were there too. And it's because they're trying to snub us and say, well, you can't do this and you can't do that. And it's totally wrong. We should be able to spend as much as any other club in the Premier League, and yet we can't. We had to get rid of Yakuba Minta and Elliot Anderson. Why? I mean, here's the thing, right? All teams want to be able to keep their star players, like we did with Bruno and who was the other one? Anthony Gordon and others. What we don't want is to be rash with the cash, like totally exploding our pay structure. Just gradually increase it season on season. And that way we grow within what we are doing. And as I say in my songs, if we can get some American investors to come in and sponsor our training ground and a new training ground, wherever that may be, possibly in Gosforth, so be it. But the main point is they're going to try Premier League and Richard Masters. They're going to try their hardest to handcuff us again with some other silly rule. And because the Premier League is in two camps at this moment in time, it's who between the two has the most power. I mean, one thing I always knew when we had our takeover, I knew we weren't going to get superstars like your Messi's, Kylian Mbappe, and players along those lines. Because they'd said they wanted to grow season on season and not to obliterate our pay structure, which does need to be increased. Yes, it does. And hopefully, as we progress towards January, we can get in some other sponsorship from the United States of America, as well as some other sponsorship from Saudi Arabia. So that's two streams coming into the club. And we've also got the rebuild. What is Newcastle United going to do? Interesting. They may demolish St James's completely and put up one of those temporary stadiums. They may do that. And if they do that, hopefully we're going to get a mega stadium. Or will they turn around and say, right, the Leazes Terrace end, we'll fix that, renew it, and basically increase the capacity to an upper tier from the east corner of the Leazes right the way to the east corner of the Gallowgate, and then back around to the Melbourne. We're going to have to wait on that one until maybe I'd say January, February for that. And then hopefully we've all, by that time, heard what's going to happen. So, when this meeting with the Premier League is going to happen to introduce whatever brand new rule, let's hope those at Newcastle United have put the feelers out to get sponsorship to come in to fill the gap before any new rule. That would be really nice. And one would hope that if they're going to go down a rebuild of St James's Park completely, meaning we play somewhere else temporarily, there's naming rights as well for new said super stadium. So there's a lot to think about. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Hopefully we have some better news from those down in London and not stupid new rules that are going to drive fans absolutely batty. So hopefully you like the video, subscribe and spread the word, because there's lots more to come, including music as well. So thanks for watching.